Hey there! Today you're going to learn how to get a ton of LinkedIn recommendations here in 2019. Now, the methods that I teach my clients have enabled them to get between 6 and 25 LinkedIn recommendations in as little as 7 days. So I'm going to teach you this method today, and the best part about it is that it can be done in 3 easy steps. Hey there, Tammy Kabell, Career Resume Consulting, and in this video I'm going to give you 3 simple steps of getting a lot of LinkedIn recommendations here in 2019. So LinkedIn has become a powerhouse of executive searching. If you haven't been searching in a while or you've been living under a rock, you may not know that LinkedIn is absolutely essential, and it's an essential part of searching for an executive position these days. And recruiters, I've been told by a lot of recruiters, because I have a lot of colleagues in the industry, that recruiters say that if you don't have at least 6 LinkedIn recommendations on your profile, sometimes they won't even look at you or give you a chance. So think about it this way. The recommendations that you get on LinkedIn are what psychology and marketing call social proof. Social proof is very important. Let me explain to you what social proof is so that you understand why recommendations hold so much power. If you think about a sales page, maybe an internet page that's trying to sell you something, or a commercial, think about an infomercial. Always with infomercials, there's always testimonials. In other words, there are customers explaining how they have used the product or service that that company is trying to sell you and to get some kind of gain or to solve some kind of pain point. So that's really all about social proof. As a matter of fact, studies have shown that people who read social proof are 63% more likely to buy a product or service than if there is no social proof. Now, so think about that when it comes to infomercials, a commercial, or even an internet sales page. There's always testimonials. There's always a lot of people explaining how whatever they bought is just the best thing and has completely changed their lives. That's going to make you 63% more likely to buy that product or service. So social proof is a very, very real thing that recruiters and employers use because they're human beings also, and they're looking for social proof about your capabilities, about your career, about your achievements. So anything that comes in as a LinkedIn recommendation is social proof, and the more that you have, the more weight that's given in an executive search. So also keep in mind that a recruiter or an employer, whether it be human resources or the person that will be your boss, will always look at your LinkedIn profile these days. In 2019, it is customary, it's a given that they are going to look at your LinkedIn profile. The more testimonials you have, the more LinkedIn recommendations you have, the more they're going to be attracted to someone like you, and they're going to give you a call or they're going to hire you. So do keep that in mind. That's the reason why you want a lot of LinkedIn recommendations. But if you just ask for a LinkedIn recommendation, let's say you email a colleague or a friend and you're asking for a recommendation, it's been proven that only 10% or less of people that get asked for a LinkedIn recommendation actually get one done. That's not very good odds. I mean, you'd have to reach out to 10 people just to get one LinkedIn recommendation. So I'm going to show you a way to get at least 50 to 80% of the people that you ask to write a fantastic LinkedIn recommendation. All right? So I'm going to go through these steps for you. So the first step you need to do is you need to ask in a specific email. And it isn't asking for a LinkedIn recommendation. That's actually not the way you're going to set up the email. What you want to do is you want to structure the email this way. You want to ask the person that you're wanting this recommendation from 3 simple questions. The first question is, so basically you're not going to talk about LinkedIn recommendations at all in this email. The first question is, can you tell me what words come to mind when you think of me and my work style? Now, you could ask this, you could start the email by saying something like, hey, trust you're doing well, and I'm kind of freshening up my resume, or I'm wanting to gain some insight into my career and my achievements. So I'd like to ask you some questions. And of course, that first question is, what words come to mind when you think of me and my career or my work style? And then number 2 is, what was the greatest accomplishment that you saw me do when we worked together? Now, with this, keep in mind, you don't have to send this to just a peer like your colleague or your manager or someone that worked for you. You can also send it to customers. You can send it to vendors or suppliers. Really, anyone that has had contact with you in a professional way, you can ask these questions of, and you can get a great LinkedIn recommendation. So the third question that you want to ask them is there anything else that you would want an employer to know about me? So once again, the 3 questions very quickly are, what words come to mind when you think of me and my work style? Number 2 is, what's the greatest accomplishment that you saw me do when we worked together or when you were around me? Or number 3 is there anything else that you'd like to tell a potential employer about me? So then they're going to email you back this information. Now, this is why this works. Because if you were to just ask for a LinkedIn recommendation, people get really freaked out about putting something out there on the World Wide Web for the whole world to see. They're scared. It goes back to being scared of public speaking. As you probably know, public speaking is the #1 thing that people are scared of, even above death. Nobody wants to speak in public. So putting something out there on the internet is akin to speaking in public. Nobody wants to put themselves out. So they get intimidated when you ask them for a LinkedIn recommendation. They don't know what to say. This way, you're doing it in steps. And the first step is to ask them this private email question just for between you and that person. And then they email you back. And then again, you want to send this to the people you worked for, the people who worked for you, your peers, team members, your customers, vendors, suppliers, etc. When you get it back, this is number 2. When you get it back, I want you to summarize it. In other words, take what they've written, put it into a couple of paragraphs, maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs, send it back to them, and with a link to your LinkedIn profile, and then a lot of praise. You basically want to say, wow, this is amazing information that you put. So I am so flattered by what you've put here. I love how you've described working with me. This is really impressive. So I would love for you to take 30 seconds. This is the key. I want you to take 30 seconds to copy this information and paste it into a LinkedIn recommendation for me. I've enclosed my LinkedIn profile link. Make it easy for them. All they have to do is click on that link, copy and paste what's in the email, and in 30 seconds they go to give you a recommendation. They click on give that person a recommendation, they paste it in there, and it's done. Then they don't have to worry about what they're going to say, how they're going to say it, and it being out there in public. And it really makes it very, very, you'll be surprised how incredibly flattering people will give information to you, and if it's just a one-on-one, and then ask them for a LinkedIn profile after that. So the third piece of it is just wait for the recommendation. Most of the time, they'll do this within 48 hours. As a matter of fact, if they don't do it within, say, 3 days, you can follow up with them with a gentle nudge and just say, I know you're busy. It would really mean the world to me if you could put all of this flattering information out on a LinkedIn profile for me. It would absolutely make a huge difference in my career. Thank you so much. And again, thanking them in advance can be a big deal. So this allows you to use one of the biggest marketing secrets, which is social proof, to your advantage in your career search. Not only that, but if you send this to 20 people, and you can send the exact same email individually to 20 people. Do not send a newsletter that lists out a bunch of email addresses. This is individually to each person. You probably can expect of those 20 people to get about 10 to 15 of them inside of a week to send you a LinkedIn recommendation. And those are the 3 steps. And I really think that inside of a week, you could have at least 10, 15, maybe 20, depending on the number of people you send it to, great LinkedIn recommendations. And that's going to, and if you're doing an executive career search and you've got 10 or 15 LinkedIn recommendations, especially if you sent less than 10 or 15 LinkedIn recommendations, it's really, really going to show up very well for you when someone's looking at your LinkedIn profile. And these days, everyone is looking at your LinkedIn profile. All right, I hope this has helped you today. And again, I'm Tammy Kabell with Career Resume Consulting. I loved serving you today, and I love hearing about your success. So please let me know if this works for you. And until next time, have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.